Good morning. Hello, 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 hello. It is so good to see everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 6th, and I am very excited. As you can see, I am like grinning. I can't stop grinning. Welcome to the show. First of all, my name is Zoe Baraka. It is so wonderful to see you. As I always say, welcome. Aquaba. Today, I'm definitely going to speak some Ewe. Wezo. I hope I got that right. Barka da Zua. Ken, where are you watching us from? Please, please, please go into the comment section and say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night in your local dialect. I want to learn from you. Somebody sent me a ka san. I think that meant good afternoon. If you're on the African continent, it's probably afternoon right now, somewhere in Africa. So please, please go ahead and send me something in any African dialect. I do want to learn from you. All right. Once again, my name is Zoe Baraka. The show is To My Younger Self, and we're coming to you live on the Dear Daughter page. Today is a very exciting day for me. You don't know. You know how you're waiting for Father Christmas for so long, or in America we say Santa Claus for so long, and then suddenly Santa Claus is here. That's how I feel. I'm like the kid on Christmas morning tearing apart my gift. So yeah, bear with me. I'm going to be giddy all through the show today. So bear with me. Today I have with me an amazing, wonderful, wonderful young woman who I am having a lot of trouble trying to mention her first name because I never call her by her first name. I'm always calling her Big Sis. But today, because of the show, I'm going to be trying very hard to call her by her first name. This young woman's name is Elsie Dickson. And I met her through divine providence. We thought that God wanted us to work on something else when the person that introduced us on WhatsApp actually introduced us. It turns out God had other plans. She has been to me the big sister I never had. Of course, God has raised up other big sisters from other countries for me. I am the first of 4 children, so I am always the person people come to say, I need this. And then, they talk to me. And the rest of my friends are like my age group. But she is, without a shadow of a doubt, the one big sister I have who is truly a big sister and also comes from my country. So there are certain cultural references I make that she gets like that. And let me tell you, I bother her a lot. There is no project ever since I've met her that I want to embark on that I don't go, sis, I'm constantly on my phone. I think she probably thinks she has a 3rd child right now where I'm concerned. But I love her dearly. Anyone who's heard me on this show, every time she comes on, I am hugging her because I have actually never met her in person. And I cannot wait for the day I get to hug her and love on her. This woman is a professional lawyer. She has been a lawyer for almost 20 years. She works with a community legal clinic that provides legal representation to low-income individuals and families in Toronto, Canada. She went to, one of the best schools. I'm not going to say the best, but one of the best schools in best high schools or best girls' high school in Ghana, Wesley Girls High School. Yes. Then she went on to Oxford Law. Actually, she went on to Legon first, to Oxford Law and LLM, Queen's University. She says that she is a self-described, but I don't think she is self-described. I describe her. I think anyone that met her will describe her as an observer and documenter of life, lover of books. Oh my God, she reads. She puts me to shame, and that's saying something. I'm just going to put it out there. She is passionate about interacting with people and hearing their stories and helping them to connect the dots. She loves God. I can tell you right now, she loves God. She loves God and she loves people. And there is nothing I have brought to her that she hasn't jumped in feet first. And then she says, what's the problem? I know I am ranting and I am definitely, yes, 4 minutes into the introduction. This is how much this woman means to me. So I'm going to just introduce her without a shadow of a doubt. Please, 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 all of you, welcome. And please, please, please help me welcome this beautiful, amazing soul sister of mine, Elsie Dickson. Hello.
Oh, Zoe.
I know I've got tears in my eyes, but I don't
Uh,
care. That's how much I just cherish you. Welcome to the show, sis.
Thank you so much, my sweetie. Thank you. It's been a long time coming, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, yes, it
And love
is
you
a
right
long
back.
time. Oh,
Love you
thank
right
you.
back.
All right, listen, Ralia, I welcome you. Puting Awala. Yes, my sister is speaking Kusal to you right now. Hello, Audrey. Hello, Caroline, Izzy, Beverly. Thank you guys for joining us. We truly appreciate you. I am going to let Elsie take it away with her story. The floor is yours, sis.
Alrighty. I love stories, and you know
Yes,
that, right? You and I
yes,
have shared a lot of stories behind the scenes. I'm a child of a storytelling home, and so
yes.
when you tell me to pick a couple of stories to share, it's really hard. But I
Really.
thank God. I thank God for our mutual love of stories, and I'd like to share a couple today. I grew up in a storytelling home.
Mm.
I have three siblings, and the four of us, mom and dad, it was one of the things we did so routinely that I didn't realize other people didn't live like that.
The
Let me
other
tell you.
half.
Let me tell you, my dad, God rest his soul, was a consummate storyteller. And
Mm.
we would have this routine where if you wanted him to tell a story, there was a line from a fella song. I've never listened to the whole song, but you go to dad and say, I want to tell you a story. Po,
Uh,
poli,
well,
po.
I remember that song. Oh,
So it
good
was the
old
thing.
fella.
Or dad would come and you'd say, I want to tell you a story. Po, poli, po. It was something we connected as a family, and anything could spark a story. Daddy would make a story up on the fly. It could be the same story he's told you before, but he would add a little twist.
Oh,
So that was the thing we did. English wasn't our first language, at least
mm,
not for me and my younger siblings. And so storytelling in English, listening to stories, reading books together, that's how uh, we learned English.
wow.
And so now I mean, you're really not surprised that I love reading so much. That's how I
Mm,
learned how to speak English. And
wow.
so, um, another thing that we would do, and in terms of the range of stories, it could be from the classics to the Bible to name it, anything that was in print that was appropriate for kids, we read. But there's
Wow.
nothing like the stories that he told.
Wow.
Even if it was a movie we watched, which was another thing we did a lot as a family, dad would take a line from the movie and craft a story around it or craft life lessons around it. And so today, that little snippet I want to give you into my childhood is about one of those lines. Dad loved the classics, and one of his favorite movies was El Cid. This is a movie that was made in 1961, way before my time,
Wow.
but we loved it. And it's a story of, set in Spain. It was about battles with the Moors. But there was this one character, the title character, and it was El Cid. And his real name was Rodrigo Diaz of Bivar.
Oh,
And
yes.
Monsieur loved his Rodrigo.
Wow.
And he would roll his tongue and say Rodrigo as if he lived in Spain. Meanwhile, this man was as Ghanaian can be.
Right.
Um, so there's a scene in the movie where Rodrigo has a conversation with his father about this daunting task in front of him. He needed to go and fight for king and country, but he was very conflicted. So it was a heavy burden. So he went to have a chat with his dad, and after dad at the end says, and I'm going to try it and say my best Monsieur impersonation. When I say Monsieur, I mean my dad. That's what we call
Your
him.
dad, yes.
Yes. And so Rodrigo's father says to him after the conversation, he says, Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Mm.
And that statement became one of our foundation pieces at home.
Wow.
Rodrigo knows what he must
What
do.
he must do.
Anytime we were going to boarding school, the morning before we left, we would have a family meeting. And dad would sit down with mom and they would give us advice about how they expected us to comport ourselves, work hard. And at some point in that conversation, Monsieur would say, Rodrigo knows what he
Knows
must do.
what he must do. Ah,
He would say secondary school. before exams, any task that we had as children that you connected with dad and mom, you would be sure to hear Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Wow.
When I was going to grad school, Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Goodness. Wow.
When I was starting my first job as a lawyer, Rodrigo knows what he must do. When I was getting married, Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Whew.
And this was something, and I'm sure if you talk to my brothers, they would say the same thing at different points in their lives. You would always hear Rodrigo knows what he must do. Now, here's the connection. Why is that important? For me, the expression Rodrigo knows what he must do is about identity and about purpose.
Mm. Wow.
Who is Rodrigo? Know who you are. Know who you are. So when I say Rodrigo, I'm calling
Your name.
not just your name, but your identity.
Yes. Wow.
When he says it to me, Elsie, you know who you are, Elsie. You know the family from which you are. You know your identity in God. Rodrigo. Now, the knows what he must do part is, you know, it's been poured into you. It's been scolded into you. You've learned some of the lessons the hard way, but you know what you must do.
You must do.
You are equipped to know what you must do. So Rodrigo knows what you must do. You know who you are. You know your purpose. You're equipped to do it. Now go out and do it.
And do it.
Go
Wow.
out and do it. Now, as a child of God, who are you? When you're facing those tasks, know who you are. Know that God has poured so much into you. And it may have been through incredible life circumstances, some of them good, and many of them challenging.
Yes.
But all of that pours into Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Yeah. I think I'm going to borrow that you and me now. I'm just going to put it out there. You know, well, be like, sis, Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Rodrigo knows what he must do. And so every time, I mean, Dad has been gone for a little over 5 years now, but I still hear that refrain in my head. Wow. Sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes it's pressure because you know
there's so much no room for failure.
Yeah, and there's so much expectation. Yeah. But as I've grown older, I've also realized that in him reassuring us, Rodrigo knows what he must do. Rodrigo is not an island, right?
No, it's not.
And part of your identity is knowing whose you are, to whom you belong, and where you can go back.
Wow.
Right? And that, for me, is one of the things that I learned as my younger self. But as I've grown older, it's just ringing true in so many ways, particularly in my walk with God. Just knowing that, you know you're a child of God. And you know what you need to do. You know your purpose. Go do it.
Go do it.
Go do it. So that's my story.
Wow. Rodrigo knows what he must do. I think everyone on this platform is about to borrow it. Indeed. Caro says that, wow, I will use it now. I know for a fact Ralia is definitely taking this and running with it. So looks like Dad has now left a legacy of young women out there who are going to be using that. Beverly says, yes, purpose, identity, and you are sure to know who you are and whose you are, which is very true, which is what Dad was saying. You know you come from me, and this is what I would do. You know what you must do. That is such a powerful and, quite honestly, pressuring, profound statement.
So go watch the movie.
Yes, go watch the movie. My
it's an old one. It's an old one, but it's a classic with Charlton Heston and Sophia Loren.
Oh, my good God. I know the intonation was perfect then, almost reminiscent of Laurence Olivier. Oh, yes. I'm definitely going to go watch that. Yes, sorry, we just went into film, we do that.
Yes.
just a few hellos. Orti, you're here. Wow, she woke up for us. This woman. We thank you and we love you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna hand back to you, sis.
Okay, and my other story really is a story I wrote 1 year after she passed,
Wow.
and it wasn't. I don't know what sparked the imagery I'm going to be sharing,
Mm,
but my maiden name is Kuchuati,
mm,
and Kuchuati is Ewe from the Volta region of Ghana,
yes.
and Kuchuati means literally death has cut the tree.
Whoa.
Death has cut the tree, and it's in reference to a person of impact
Mm,
that has passed. But the essence behind the name is beyond the person passing. It's that in spite of the tree having been cut, it lives on. And so, a year when it was coming to the first year of Monsieur's anniversary, I just felt inspired to write this story, and I'm just going to share it and
mm.
link it, circle back to Rodrigo Knows What He Must Do.
Mm.
And so, if you'll excuse me, I'm just going to be reading it, and I'll
Okay.
try not to be emotional.
You have the floor, sis, and you can be emotional too.
The story is called The Tree.
Mm,
A tree stood in the center of the village, tall and majestic, giving shelter to all, from the toddler whose faltering gait had him grabbing the tree trunk to steady his balance, to the school children who sat in its branches and dreamed about life, and to the older folks who exchanged greetings in its shade. Morning, noon, and night, the tree heard echoes of promises, tasted the salty tears of life's disappointments, and waved its branches in celebration of life achievements. The tree did not waver, it was constant, and it featured in everybody's stories. Not necessarily as a main character, no, but a steady backdrop to their history. One day there was a storm, not a particularly memorable one, at least. Nobody thought so at the time. But the next morning, that was all everybody could talk about. For you see, at night, while everybody took shelter from the rain, the giant tree toppled
mm,
without warning. That's one of the things that puzzled everyone. The tree was an old tree, and its branches were not as supple as they used to be. In fact, if it was quiet enough, every now and then you'd hear a slight creak as the wind blew.
mm,
But it still produced the fruit in season. And being the village tree with no one owner, anyone could pick the fruit. And they did. In fact, just the day before, Koku had just harvested a big basket of fruit, which he doled out freely to anyone who passed by. And so to wake up to the news that the big tree had fallen was shocking, especially since the tree had survived many other more ferocious storms in the past. People began to gather around the tree, full of stories about what they'd done by, under, or in the tree. Each story echoed with nostalgia. There was laughter and there was tears. There was another big storm the day the wood was chopped up and carried away.
mm.
It rained so hard it seemed as though the heavens themselves mourned. Soon, all that remained was the tree stump. Passers-by would ask about the stump, and they would be told stories of time past when the tree stood tall and majestic in the middle of the village. A year passed. Life went on as normal in many respects. And often people would even forget that the tree wasn't there. Let's meet by the big tree after school, the kids would say. Directions were given using the tree as a point of reference. Oh, Daffy Mansa's stall is opposite the big tree. People would still stop to exchange greetings by the tree. You see, even though the tree had fallen, its presence was still felt. Even though it had fallen in the storm, the place where it stood, the memories it nurtured, and the provision it gave still lived. So no one was surprised when a shoot sprang out of the tree stump. The end.
What? Why would you do this, sis? Why would you shock me? You just ended it.
Yes.
Oh,
But the shoot is still growing.
wow.
The shoot is still growing. I wrote that piece just thinking about our Rodrigo.
Wow.
And to circle back to the story I shared at first, he knew what he had to do. And what he had to do had a purpose that extended beyond the years he lived on Earth. And that's my second story and the second lesson I'd like to share today. That purpose outlives our lives on Earth. And so, yeah, let's live with purpose. Even after our time, let's live with purpose.
Okay. A little emotional here. I think I'm going to throw this to the audience to help me because I don't have words right now. What a powerful, powerful story. It's not just a poem. It's like correct me, sis. Which one is the biography and which one is the autobiography?
Autobiography is when you write about yourself, yes.
Okay, so this is a biography of Massey that it's the shortest, most power-punching biography I've had the pleasure of ever listening to. And the fact that you actually read it to us makes it even more special. Wow. And I wish that we had made arrangements so we could show this majestic tree, and show his face so that the audience would know. That way, when they pass that tree, they would know. Indeed, every time I talk to you, I know I'm passing by that tree. And I'm definitely sitting under that shade because you knew what you must do as Rodrigo. Now look at me.
You know what you must do, girl.
Standing tall right under that tree, and sometimes I just be coasting under the breeze of that tree too, just like I don't want to be someone's grown-up sister right now. I just want to be a little baby under that tree, and just be naughty and bad and be like, sis, yes, I did it.
But you know what, my dear, if we think back, I think each of us has a tree in our life, right?
Yes.
And each of us, whether we know it or not, you're somebody else's tree.
Wow.
And you're somebody else's tree. Wow. Yeah, somebody else's Rodrigo.
Yes.
And wow. God is the ultimate.
Look at you. Okay. Show is over. Let's go home. She's done. She came here to preach. Audrey says, you made it through without tears, sis. That's so beautiful. I felt like I was there with you the day you read it to your family. Love you, sissy. Oh my God. Yes. People are shouting amen because you just preached. My good God. Ot says that purpose outlives our lives on earth. And she couldn't have put it any more succinct. That is it. And 5 years down the line, here we are now through technology. You're in Canada. I am somewhere in Obiman, so right here. And we are talking about this legacy. What a powerful legacy this is. This also tells everyone out there, we have mighty oaks and baobab trees, and which ones are the oldest trees you can think about? Bamboo trees that shoot out, like, they're deep in the dark and suddenly they're shooting up 5 years later, whole trees in the span of a night. We have men like this in Africa, and they have become the shade under which a lot of daughters and a lot of sons are like just benefiting from. that narrative that we don't have powerful examples of men in Africa, that is a lie from the pit of hell. Today,
Absolutely.
my big sister and I were here and we're telling you stories from mighty, mighty oaks. These are men who were rooted so in the ground that even the stump is growing, shooting back up. That is ridiculous, you know. And for all of you out there who are wondering, where is my mighty oak? They're all around you. And all you have to do is ask what did you describe God as just right now, sis? You described
I said
our
he's the
Heavenly Father.
ultimate, right?
He is ultimate big tree. Indeed, in the Hebrew word, we all call him Abba, Father. It means he's the highest of all sources, highest of all fathers. Just ask him. I need a mighty oak. Indeed, I asked and I got. I have two right now. And sis, I know, yes, Monsieur is not here anymore, but I know God has raised up not only his legacy, but in your brothers, in your wonderful husband, and also in some uncles. He's raised up mighty oaks, examples of men for you that you still go to harvest that legacy he left. I just know it, right?
Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
Wow.
And thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some of
No.
these stories.
Wow.
As I said, lots and lots of stories. And go find the tree within yourself and
Mm.
nurture it and
Yes.
celebrate it.
Wow.
And also know that the tree is not just yours, it's a communal thing, it's community. And in a time like this, as we reflect over the last year, some trees are growing. They may be gnarly in some spots and they may be
Mm.
a little bent in others, but that's the beauty. That's the beauty of our trees. And we celebrate life so long as we have life, so long as we have connections,
Mm.
so long as God exists.
Wow.
There isn't anything we can do. Let's grow the village.
Wow.
Let's grow the village.
Mm.
Let's grow the village.
And can I just tell you guys, on God's Women in Waiting, we have dubbed her. And I think I'm going to take the word dubbed out because dubbed means we conferred on her when she was actually born that way. So she is not, we call her our scribe. And I do, you would agree with me why we call her the scribe. She is the keeper of all things community, all things, indeed, history. I don't think there's anything I would ask sis that she would be like, I kind of sort of don't know.
Oh
She'll
my
find
word.
it. She'll find it. She'll be like, give me a few days, and then she'll be all up in there, and then she'll come up with something. That is what community is. That is what village is. That is what a hamlet is. I remember one of the things that my father had told me was, you come from a hamlet, grow it into a village. If you grow it into a village, it will become a little town. And then after a little town, it will become a city. And then from a city, it will become a country. And then it will become global. This is
Amen.
what you have come to do today. From our little hamlet in the corners of Toronto, Canada, and from Obi Manso right here, you have helped us build a community and a village. I thank you. Thank you for sharing this legacy with us. I am warm and fuzzy inside. I feel like I know Miss Sway, and I just want to,
You
just
do.
wow. I do because I know
You do.
you.
You
Now
do.
I know that every time you tell me, young lady, I know what's coming.
I heard it a few times. I heard it a few times.
Oh my God. Let me read a few comments here. Kara says, wow, go find tree within yourself and nurture it. Thanks for sharing the life of your dad with us. Um, OT says, yes, scribe Elsie. Audrey says, so long as we have connection. This is true. This is true. Ciro Patrick says, Ciro, tell us where you're watching us from. I want to wager and say you're watching us from Kenya. I could be wrong, but Ciro says, I love listening. Again, Audrey says she's a walking encyclopedia for real. For real though, she is like. Do you guys remember Britannica?
Oh,
Because of the alphabet A, B, C, all the way to Z. I feel like I could just go up
oh, you
like, oh
guys are
yeah, Miss
funny.
Elsie, I'm looking for a V something, and I'll just pull it out of her.
It's all those books.
I know. I was about to say, I know you've read all of those books, and one day we must have a an extended version where you kind of like go, you know, through it and tell me all of the stories in those books. It'll be like a 2 hour stretch, but we'll be here for it.
We will be here for it. Thank you. I'm not too bad.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Guys, I am stumped and you guys showed up. I know some of you had to set an alarm. Audrey was up at 5. By the way, can I just say I think Audrey is
Oh,
slowly becoming one of our line producers, just linking us with people like on
oh, that's sweet,
underground line
Audrey.
so Audrey, thank you. And then she says, I was up studying, but I'm gonna set an alarm. And she did set an alarm because she did
Thank
not
you.
want to have
Thank you.
FOMO. And she woke up because she says,
Thank you.
Sis Elsie's coming on and I am not missing it. For those of you who did that for us and for my big sister Elsie, I thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate you. Thank you so much. Look how many people showed up for you, sis. This is amazing, incredible. One of the highest grossing numbers so far this year. We
I'm
appreciate.
honored. I'm honored.
And I am so shocked by Sis Elsie's very calm demeanor today. I'm gonna invite her back because she is a riot, and I want you guys
You
to
see
see
that
that
side of
side.
me?
I want you guys to see that side of her that I also absolutely love and adore. This fun-loving, absolutely like laugh till, excuse me to say, you pee your pants, lady, make you laugh like roaring laughter. I'm going to invite her back for that side and we'll preface it and say, sis, when you come this time, we want to like be on the floor dying with laughter.
Absolutely. You got it. You got it.
But it was such a pleasure to see you, sis. I love you. I
I love
cannot
you
wait
too.
to meet you. I cannot wait to just hug you and say thank you and cry and,
And laugh. And laugh.
and laugh. Yes, I cannot wait for that.
Thank you for
Audrey
having
says,
me.
I ratted her out. She says, that's our secret. And so y'all didn't hear it from me. Okay. I did not say anything. Guys, once again, we are very sadly at the end of another amazing, fantastic show. Sis, did I say thank you to you already? Thank you. Like they say in I wanted to say in my local dialect, but that'd be a lie because I don't know how to say thank you in my local dialect, sadly. Ralia, can you help me? But in Chi, medasi, nyamishrao, what I just said was, thank you. God bless you. I appreciate you. I can never stop saying I love you.
I
So
love
you
you
know
more.
that.
I
For everyone that came out today, thank you. I appreciate you. Just a few things before we sign off. Next week, Tuesday, we will not be having Dear Daughter. Sorry, to my younger self next week, Tuesday, for a very good reason. The person that that we're going to be getting is not able to be here on a Tuesday. So we're going to be pushing it to Friday the 16th. So please mark your calendars, set your alarms, so to speak, for Friday the 16th. It will be at the same time, 7:30 in the morning if you are in this part of the world, and also 11:30 if you're in Ghana, and 12:30 in Nigeria. I do believe it's probably going to be around 3:30 or 4 in Kenya, but yeah, set your alarms for that, okay? That's pretty much it. We're still looking for storytellers all over the world. Okay, Sis Elsie has been very instrumental in that. She is helping me reel in a few people. I just ratted out one of the people that is an underground line producer. So I thank you guys. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Sis Elsie. Thank you, Jidana, and of course, Sedinam. I thank you guys for doing all of the behind the scenes work with me, text messaging, going back and forth. You guys are amazing. Let us do this for our continent. Let us do this for our mother Africa. There is so many amazing stories to be told, and we want them all. We are the keepers of the history. We're the oral griots. We are the people that started storytelling to begin with. We can do it, and we can do it better. Okay, so please reach out to me on Dear Daughter. Send me a message. Tell me if you want to tell a story wherever you are in Africa. I want to hear from you. Okay, once again, my name is Zoe Baraka. It has been an absolute pleasure hanging with you. We'll see you next week Friday. Love you, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Yes, Rodrigo knows what he must do. Go and do that all week today, shoot, all of the year. Just remember, Rodrigo knows what he must do.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.